Hi, everybody. This is Julissa. Thank you so much for coming to my podcast. And if you're watching this on YouTube, thank you so much for being here. So, today is April 5th, 2023. I'm here, guys, to speak to you about some breaking news that happened early this morning. And I gotta say, there's a lot of news happening, right? Like every day. But please do not get distracted. Here we are. The news is that Cash App founder and former Square marketing chief technology officer, his name is Bob Lee, was stabbed and killed early on Tuesday morning in San Francisco. Okay, this is such a tragic news, everyone. And I always tell you if you ever watch one of my videos, I always tell you you really don't know. Um, you really don't know what could happen, so you have to live every moment. And not only that, but you have to get right with God, because we make our plans, we plan our life, our future, and things like that, but God only knows what's ahead. And I think we can create things in this world, we can achieve many goals and do a lot of stuff, but if we don't have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ, when death comes knocking down on you, you will be um you know you will be surprised, because if you don't make that decision where you're going to spend eternity and then you die, there's no other option to be safe. So that should be like our one priority. Okay. um so I have to always start by saying that, because like I said, I have to emphasize it even more now, especially in these days. um Life is so surprising. You never know what lies ahead. And this is so sad. Here we are, Bably, once again, the Cash App founder. Everybody I know uses Cash App. This is technology as we know it. Technology, digital currency, technology, not having to have cash on you, not having to look for a credit card, having all that information, being able to pay for things. I mean, Square, I use Square since I opened my business in 2014. I was like, this is so convenient. This man worked for Square also as the chief technology officer, and then he moved on to founding the Cash App, which is such a, you know I like I said, everybody uses Cash App, and here we are. Bably, 43 years old, lost his life early on Tuesday, April 4th, at 2:30 a.m. in San Francisco. Okay, so let me read to you guys more information. The former chief technology officer of Square Marketing and chief product officer of Mobile Coin Inc. was stabbed and killed Tuesday in San Francisco, according to the news says here. Babley, 43, of Mill Valley, was found wounded around 2:30 a.m. on the 400 block of Main Street, police said. Officers called medics and paramedics and attempted to keep him alive, but he was rushed to the hospital where he died. This is one of the saddest thing. His father, Rick Lees, shared on Facebook that he just lost his best friend. He said he moved to Mill Valley with his son in 2019 when his mother died, and they had recently relocated to Miami. The dad said, "Life has been an adventure with two bachelors living together, and I'm so happy that we were able to become so close these last years." Lee wrote, "Bob will give you the shirt off his back. He will never look down on anyone and adhere to a strict no judgment philosophy." Flowers were placed at the spot where the paramedics and police found Lee. Many stopped by Wednesday to pay tribute and reflect on a person they say made valuable contribution to the community. Absolutely. And I think, it's so sad, because for him to have been living together with his dad, that is so precious, guys. That is just so precious. And That's what it is. When you have an opportunity to do something so great like that, do it, because you just never know. A lot of the times we're always waiting for the right time, right? We're like, oh, once I get settled, once I get this, once I get the other. Like, we make all these plans, and we all we have is today. All we have is the present time. So I understand that a lot of things in life, you do have to plan out and things like that. But um some things, they don't need for you to have something before you do the other. You know what I mean? A lot of the times we're always looking for the future, and I used to be like that. That's why I'm always talking about it, because I used to be always like that, especially going through college and all of that. I'm like, once I get out of college, man, and I get my fashion job. That was always my dream, right? Like, once I get into the fashion industry, I'm gonna be set, right? And I got slapped in the face with life, I guess you can say, right? All this planning, going to school, doing everything I needed to do, and I graduate from college, and then I don't get to get a job in New York City. Like, that was my ultimate goal. And the thing is, like, in life, we make all these plans, but God has, you know, the ultimate plan for your life. He is your creator, right? So before you go ahead and make all this plan, how about you ask God, is that really what you want me to do? And you guys know, you probably heard my testimony many times. Eventually, I ended up, creating my own company, which was what God wanted me to do, and having my own fashion shows and sharing the gospel and all of that, sharing the gospel of Jesus Christ and all of that. But um, it took me a while to realize, hey, like, all we have is the present moment. Like, I will get jobs out of college, and I will be like, I'm just here for a couple months. I don't want to get to know anybody. I'm like, don't invite me to baby showers. I don't want to connect with anybody, because this is just, for me to be here until I get my big fashion job in New York City. And that's such a bad mentality, right? Because I was losing valuable time with people where God placed me to work for a reason, right? Maybe it was for me to share the gospel to them, right? But I was so focused on just getting to New York, and I was like, I don't even want to do this potluck at work. I don't invite me to any of those things. I don't belong here, even though I was there, right? It's crazy how we waste so much time, and to see that, but Robert, right? Bob Lee was living his last days with his dad, and he, of course, he never probably thought that it was going to be his last days, right? But that's what it is in life. We are born. We don't know what year we're going to be born, right? What are you doing before you being born, right? Can somebody say that? Absolutely not. Nobody knows. So we don't even know where we're going to be born. Yet we think that we know exactly what day we're going to die, and what day is going to be the last days. And we're like, between 25 and when I get to 25 years old, I better be married with kids. Like, what? You don't even know if you're gonna make it, like, till tomorrow, right? It's okay to have plans and admirations and be ambitions and all of that, but the ultimate thing in life, what you really want to do, is do the will of God for your life. Nothing really else matters, okay? So let me continue to read about this tragic story about the founder of the Catch App, Robert Lee, who was stabbed to death yesterday, April the 4th, in San Francisco. He was found around 2:30 in the morning. As of right now, what I heard was that they are not giving any information how this thing happened. They're not sharing suspects information, nothing like that. But you have to understand, um, I'm not trying to bring any, like, suspicious, nothing like that. But think about it: 2:30 in the morning. We're talking about the founder of the Cash App, right? We're not talking about somebody who has a hot dog stand, down the road. Not trying to minimize anybody's business, nothing like that. All I'm saying is this: people. Have you ever Googled your name? Like, people can find so much information on you. It is scary, okay? I had, I'm like, sometimes I do try to see how much information people can get that I'm trying to of me about me, right? That I'm trying to keep private, and it's really shocking to see all the information people can go just by typing information on the Google search, right? So it's just so sad that you know people, when you're so big like that, and I'm saying that the achievement that he has done, I really hope that you know he had, like, you have to be aware. Like, my whole point is this: believe it or not, there's an enemy out there. You always have to be aware, right? Be aware of your surroundings. I'm not saying to live in fear, but be precautious, right? Why was this man doing at 2:30 in the morning, right? Like, what was he doing? Who was with him? Was he like at a bar or something like that? So they're not giving information about that. I am actually very surprised to see. This is just an observation in my end. Very surprised to see that his dad, who lived with him, an older man, right? I mean, Bob Lee was 43 years old, so you can imagine how old his dad was, right? And he's already talking to the press and saying, how sad he feels. Like, it's a little too fast. That's just an observation. It's a little too fast for this man, the father, to come out and speak already. And maybe he's just the immediate relative, but even so, if you're the immediate relative to him, like, there's so many other things that you need to work on right now, right? When somebody close to you dies. So I'm very surprised to see that he's already giving a statement to the press, right? And this just happened um yesterday. So it says here, flowers were placed at the spot where the paramedics and police found him. Many stopped Wednesday to pay tribute and reflect on a person that made valuable contributions to the community. This is so crazy. I just thought about somebody. Who was the person who created Sappos? I made also a video about him. Uh, well, anyways, you guys probably know already who I'm referring to. He created Sappos, right? And he also died. Millions of dollars, right? Millions of. I'm gonna see if I can get his name. Um, I speak about him because he died here in Connecticut. Um, Say, yeah, Tony Says, who created Sappos, who died, right, in a house here in Connecticut where I'm from, right? That's why I was like, I need to speak about him, right? Not only that, because I knew about Sappos when I was in college. Like, I'm always fascinated about to hear how people begin their business. You can probably understand why, because I also have my own business. So I like to hear about their story, especially a website that you can get shoes. Like, how crazy is that? Everybody who buys shoes, they want to try it on. So I remember when Sappos came out, right? I'm not trying to get off subject here, but when Sappos came out, I was like, this is so interesting. People can buy shoes on the website, online, right? The same thing. I remember signing up for Amazon, to do reviews and order my college books, like in 2000 when it came out. Probably before that, I remember getting that email from Jeff Bezos saying thank you for your order. And I was like, oh my goodness, his name is Bezos. He's Spanish or something. And that's exactly what I said the first time I saw that email. But Tony Say died, right, in a house here in Connecticut. And it was a very mysterious circumstances. The only thing they say that he was fascinated by candles, whatever that means. You're visiting a home and they already know, like, you have a setup already of things that you like and whatever. That's not the subject right now, but it's just so interesting. I did make a video about that, probably a couple videos, not just one, so you can go ahead and look at that on my YouTube channel. But here it is, another founder of a big company who has a lot of money, probably, right? Who died with a bunch of money in the bank, right? Let me just tell you guys something about that, right? Money comes and goes. And we are so, This world looks down at you if you don't have some type of savings on your account. This world, the society looks bad at you if if people are like, you're gonna spend that, you're gonna buy that. Like, you have to live your life so poorly because you have to save for the future. Like, do you even, like, am I even gonna be here like tomorrow? Like, I'm not trying to say it, like, it's just like a lot of the times we have to look at life as a gift for what it is. It's a gift, right? And look at it in the present, right? So one thing I have to say, yes, God wants us to save for when we're old age. That's nothing, I think there's a verse in the Bible about, there's a verse in the Bible about managing money and all of that. I'm sure there's more than one verse, right? So that's something that, excuse me, that we have to keep in mind. But when you're just thinking, trying to accumulate, and you know those people that have money in the bank and they're like, oh man, I don't know how I'm gonna buy groceries today. You have money in your bank account and you're complaining to other people how you're gonna buy food for the week. Like, what type of mind game are you playing with your own self and your family? There's a reason why you have the money. It's almost like, when you're growing up, right? And there's always that setup. I remember going. I'm not trying to say anything about my family, but don't use those plates. That's when we have company. Don't use those towels. That's when we have companies. Yeah, when we have company, and don't use that. Don't sit on that couch. It's like life is happening in the moment. We're gonna save towels, plates, and like I remember my grandmother used to keep like a juice or something in case we had good company. And I can understand, like, you're trying to be welcoming to people, whoever shows up, but there's no guarantee that anybody's coming. But you rather keep that for when you have company instead of enjoying the moment that you have in front of you. Like, I would never understand anything like that. I used to be so reprimanded when I was younger because it didn't make sense to me. I'm like, why can't I just dry my hands with these towels? They're here, they're being here. I see them every day. Oh no, that's only when we have visitors coming. I always thought that that was so annoying to me. When I'm talking about even before we even came here to the US, and I came here when I was 12. So I was a lot younger already with that mindset. Like, I couldn't understand why I couldn't use that cup from, you have to use the regular cup that you normally get. Don't use that cup. Don't use those towels. Don't sit on that side. Don't use those plates because that's for company. That is so annoying. Like, I wish I would, when I have my kids, I would never do that. And maybe I can understand a little bit when I have kids, but at the end of the day, this is all we have is today, everybody. So many people are so concerned for the future that they don't even know. Like, I'm not trying to say anything, but sometimes you have to be realistic. We don't even know where we're going to be born. We don't even know, like, when God is going to say, this is your time. That's it. Right? So, why are we so concerned with this future in this earth, trying to save for like 6 months from now? We don't even know what could happen. And we put away having a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. We should be our number one priority, right? That should be our goal in the future, to when we die, to make sure that we are living with Christ. He said, I'm gonna go make a place for you. So, where I am, you can also be there. And we regret to have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. And so much, preparing for, the future, this future in this earth, right? Everybody's trying. I always to say many years ago, people are so concerned about living longer on this earth, but they're not concerned about living eternal with Jesus. And we're all gonna live somewhere when we die. It's your choice. It's either gonna be heaven with Jesus or hell, right? So why we put so much emphasis on earthly matter, right? So it says here, this is here. I'm trying to get more information about Bob Lee, the founder of CashApp, who was fatally stabbed, and he was 43 years old, and he died yesterday morning. It says here, Bob was a dad, the former, we already told you guys, CashApp founder and Square chief officer. He was generous, decent human. Um, it sounds really ridiculous to say his name in past tense. Some of his friends are talking already. Says here it, the district attorney already spoke and said they will hold accountable anyone who commits this type of crimes, and they also expressed condolences to the families. This man, probably, let me just think. This man on Sunday, I mean on Monday morning, was probably working in an office, going about his day, doing meetings and things like that, without knowing that the next day he was gonna, die, right? And this is, we don't know, right? We don't know what can happen. So why do we put so much emphasis on savings and all of that and health? We always put in like, oh yeah, I'm gonna buy a house so when I'm this age then I can live there, a house in a different country. And when I'm this age, I can't wait to enjoy that. You don't even know if you're gonna get to 70. You don't even know if you're gonna make it to 80. And I'm not saying for you not to plan, but all I'm saying is this. Um, don't regret to have a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. I can never get tired of saying that. um we have the future. We're always looking for the future. This society, the way it's been shaped to just look forward to Friday, it's almost like you can get sleepy. Like for me, you can be sleepy the entire Monday to Friday. You're sleepy, and you're like, I can't wait for Saturday morning when I actually can sleep, so that I can sleep. And we all know what happens Saturday mornings at 5 a.m. You're on TikTok, and you're like, are you kidding me? This is the time that I've been waiting for to sleep, and I couldn't. Now I'm not even sleepy. I'm so energized. I can go for like a walk for like 3 miles right now, and it's like, it's so it's so strange that that happens, right? So what do you have to make the best of out of every day, right? We're always planning ahead. Sometimes we wait. You're like, I can't wait to get that tax return, right? I can't wait to get that tax return, because when that tax return comes in, man, I'm gonna be so happy. And then the money gets direct deposit to you, and you're like, I don't even feel like going anywhere. If I go somewhere, I'll probably spend money on things that I don't need. And it's like, you were just excited for something, now you're not. So that's the other thing, right? We can achieve so many things in life. We can achieve and gather goods and like create big things, and really, like a lot of the times, that just brings you up for a little moment of this happiness and achievement and your ego, and you feel so, so celebrated by your peers. And then you're like, whatever, like it is what it is. It's a lot of work. I did it, and then what's next, right? And but what I'm saying is this, basically, once again, guys, it goes back to Jesus. Nothing in your life will ever satisfy that space that you need to have. Pure joy only comes from Jesus. You will only experience that type of satisfaction in life once you get to know Jesus Christ, and once you start living for Him and Him only. Don't you ever wonder why so many actresses who achieve everything, they have everything at their feet? They can even go they can even go to the supermarket without being stabbed to get a photograph, and people think that must be so cool, man. Everybody recognize you, but they go home and they're sad. They don't even want to get out of their home, because they feel like they have no privacy. Like they feel like everybody's probably watching them. They have no privacy. They're sad, and you're like, how can you be sad? You have a chef, you have a makeup artist, you have a wardrobe person, you have a chauffeur, and you have money in the bank, and you don't even work. Like you don't even have to get up from 9 to 5. And you do a movie once a year, and then you're all set. For like 3 years. How can you be sad? Because nothing will give you pure joy in life without a personal relationship with Jesus Christ. Nothing, right? I learned, being in the fashion industry and all of that stuff, like I I have really achieved so much. Like when it comes to my business, the things that I thought in my head were impossible, I was able to achieve through faith, through Jesus Christ. And it's almost like God gave me all of that. I did it. And then I'm like, I still just want Jesus. You know what? Like, it's so hard to explain. Like, that's all great. And I was able to do fashion shows what I always wanted. And I was able to have my business what I always wanted. But then I want Jesus, and I want to tell people about God, and I want to share the gospel, and I want to read the Bible verses as much as I can. And that is so interesting. I think God is definitely working on me when it comes to that. So at the end of at the end of your life, right? What really is gonna matter is who are you in front of God, right? Who are you when the degrees are taken away, when your accomplishments are taken away, when your earthly gathers, your home, your car, who are you really? You can say, well, I donated to charity, I did so many things, but it's not by works, right? Nobody comes to God unless you know, they have to. Nobody comes to God unless they come to Jesus, right? So it's not really, you're not going to come to God and say, I did so many things. I gave, all this money to charity. I did the marathon for charity and all these things. God can turn around and say to you, but you never knew me. And that's the thing, it's just by grace. We have to accept Jesus Christ into our life. A lot of the times we think we have it. We think we've reached that level of, man, I'm set. You know, I have so much money in the bank. Everybody loves me everywhere I go. But really, sometimes I feel like we lie to ourselves a lot. There's a lot of people who really believe who they are on Instagram. As weird as that sounds, there's a lot of people who believe who they really are on their Instagram photos. And you can think, what do you mean? Well, even if we all have Instagram, well, a lot of people have Instagram, right? We would never post a photo when we are sad, upset, not having enough money to do something. We will never post those photos. We post the cute photos, right? We do the filters. We do everything's perfect, I'm having the life because I'm in this fashion show. Yeah, but you would never tell people you're in that fashion show after you pay to be there $5,000 to have a front row seat that you're probably gonna regret the minute that show is over, right? So there's so many things that I can go on and on, right? And it's just that sometimes you have to look in the mirror and be honest with ourselves. Who are we really? Because achievements, money, that's temporary happiness. It's definitely temporary happiness. And at the end of your life, who are you in front of God? Do not let death surprise you. Okay? Life is so fragile, everybody. Today we learned that Cash App founder Robert Lee, okay, Bob Lee, I guess you can say, 43 years old, was killed overnight after being stabbed in San Francisco. Please keep his family in prayer tonight. His dad that lived with him and now he's gonna live alone. I guess you pray for him, that God will give him the comfort that he will turn to Jesus. Thank you so much, everybody, for being here. Thank you so much for listening. God bless.